Great, great. And at this time, I would ask that Dr. Miller, our superintendent, would please do the roll call.
Good evening, board members. Good evening. Ms. Frances Boomer,
Here,
Ms. Naomi Clark. Present. Mr. Victor Dove,
I am here.
Mr. Carl Ipock,
Present.
Ms. Kelly Muse, Ms. Kimberly Smith. Here. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
thank you. Are there any amendments to the board's agenda? If there are none, at this time, I would ask for a motion to adopt the April 14th, 2022 Board of Education meeting agenda.
I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and second that the board agenda be adopted and approved. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
I have it, and the meeting, it is approved. And at this time, I would like to share the mission statement and the vision statement with each one of you. We envision a public education system that challenges all students as learners and prepares them to imagine and create a successful life, values educators, and empowers them to inspire and spark innovation in every student, leads in education and community engagement, and invites all students, their families, and all members of the community to work together to support public education to the benefit of our students, our community, our nation, and our world. Our mission, teachers, together with our families and community. Craven County Schools will educate all learners to personal, professional, and civic success through challenging and personalized instruction. At our last meeting, some of our pluses that we had were that the children and their participation was really great. We pitched in because we had some absent members, but we pitched in to cover that. We had a nice group of attendees, and community had opportunity to be informed of changes we made after the hearing input. Our Delta, and we tried to improve upon that tonight. Parts of public input was not appropriate for children in attendance. And they said that we need a bigger room and more chairs. At this time, I call on Vice Chairman Naomi Clark to review the ground rules, the bin item process, and the safety procedures in the event of an emergency with the attendees of the Board of Education meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the event of a fire emergency, we will split the room in half. The right side of the room will exit out of the door to my left. The left side of the room will exit out of the doors to my right. Those moving to my right will go out into the parking lot towards the bagel shop. Those moving out to my left will go out into the parking lot towards Babcock Furniture and get as far as away from the building until the fire department comes and clears the building. With regard to a tornado, in the event of a tornado, all of us will move out of the same doors we move out of for the fire drill. However, we will go into the hallway behind us. We will crouch on the ground against the wall and cover our heads until the storm passes or the building is cleared. Intruder, we have changed our processes for an intruder to more reflect what we will encounter in a real emergency. First, if we have warning, we will alert each other, which means we will make it known by yelling or telling the building that there is an intruder. We will lock down if the intruder is not in the room. This means we will do all we can to lock doors and secure ourselves in this room and get out of the side of windows. We will use all communication devices to inform others of what is going on, and anyone who is able to will contact 911. We will counter if someone comes into this room. We will use all the objects available to us to try to distract anyone who will come in here to do harm, and those who can will evacuate to get to safety as quickly as possible. Meeting ground rules. Post and approve the agenda, which we've done. Listen as an ally. One person speaks at a time. Respect each other. No sidebars. Everyone participates. Stay on task. Start and stop on time. Schedule appropriate breaks. Evaluate at the end of each meeting. And at this point, if you have a cell phone, we're asking that you put it on silent, vibrate, or turn it off. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all I have.
Thank you. And at this time, we would like to take the opportunity to recognize any elected officials who are present with us tonight, either in the audience or electronically. We would like to recognize the Craven County School Principal of the Year, Ms. Stacy Freeble, who was principal of Havelock High School. She's stand up again, Ms. Freeble. We would like to recognize our Teacher of the Year, Ms. Arnita Morris, teacher at H.A. McDonald Middle School. Our military liaison, Mrs. Letha Palmer. She's back there. Craven County Schools Military Liaison Counselor, Mrs. Valerie Nasser. principals and staff. Will y'all please stand up so we can see you? Any principals and staff, any Craven County teacher, anybody associated with Craven County in kind of way. Do we have any retired educators who are with us tonight? Our military families and their children, will you please stand? We'd like to welcome all of you here tonight. And at this time, we call upon our board attorney, Mr. Brian Gatchell, to offer an invocation for this meeting.
Board members, if you'll please pray with me. On this fine evening, Lord, hear our voices as we lift up our prayers to you from the depths of our hearts. We lay our requests before you, appeals that are both simple and serious, of both concern and calamity, known and unknown to the people around us. And we wait expectantly for your response, not knowing how or when that it will come. But in faith, we anticipate your answer. And with faith, we pray we are ready to receive it. And as you have listened to us, make us attentive to your wisdom. With ears to hear, may we take note of your whispers and open ourselves to hear your divine voice breaking into our lives. We incline our hearts to you this day, that you would grant us understanding in all that confounds us. Help us to receive your guidance as you lead us in the way we should go. And may we thrive on the depth of your compassion in all that we do and say. In the strength of your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. At this time, I will ask Cara Burkeen, Miguel Cato, Asela Mary, and Emily Pepper, if they will please stand. These are students for New Bern High School, and we're asking everyone to stand with them as they lead the Pledge of Allegiance for us tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Our character word and our core value for March. We're very happy to have our students from New Bern High School tonight, those young ladies and gentlemen who stood, and they will do our character word for us at this time.
The character word of the month is fairness. Good evening.
Good evening.
Dr. Miller and Craven County officials. We are avid students from New Bern High School, and we are presenting to you a fairness and management fact presentation. My name is Asha Murray, and I'm an avid senior. I'm a junior.
My name is Miguel Cotto, I'm a senior.
It is an honor to present to you today. One of our presenters, Farah, she could not come in today because we just finished having one of our biggest avid field trips. We visit 3 colleges in one day, and it leads us to be exhausted. So, without further ado, please enjoy.
Fairness and justice. This means to be fair and just in dealing with everyone and to treat everyone equally. One of the biggest strengths of New Bern High School is our diversity and the inclusive environment. The strong relationships between teachers and students between students and students are easily observable when you walk through our doors. This is a recent Spirit Day that we had last semester in our Country versus Country Club Spirit. As you can see, these are the out-of-elective seniors, and we just wanted to showcase the kind of fun that we get to have the opportunity to take advantage of in our happy. Sportsmanship on the field and in the classroom means to play by the rules, to be honest in your judgments of scoring and penalties, and take turns. Let competition guide you to do your best and not get the best of your opponents, and to win and lose graciously. These same concepts are applied in our classrooms with Socratic seminars, philosophical chairs, tutorial lessons, where we all respect and make sure everyone is equally.
Next is the topic of growth, having a growth mindset and having a fixed mindset. Having a fixed mindset is someone that looks at things one-dimensionally and doesn't try to learn or expand on their thoughts. While as a person with a growth mindset tries to keep an open mind and hear people out, they listen to what others have to say and get all the facts before deciding their feelings or opinions. In a disagreement, they try and see things from other people's perspectives. They respect people who are different. And we practice this in Socratic seminars and philosophical chairs. We as AVID try our best to make sure it's a free space where everyone's voice can be heard. And to do that, we need to be respectful and have a growth mindset. This is an example of a model that we have in Newman High School. We painted these so everybody sees them in what learn words, change the words, change your mindset. And for me, it helps me when I see it to know that I am loved and included.
This is a picture that we recently saw today. Equality does not mean equity. In order for things to be equitable, it means we must be willing to give what everyone needs in order to be successful. I practice this in the As you can see in the picture, not everyone is going to achieve success with the same opportunities. We, as a Craven County and the Newberry High School with our AVID program, must be willing to take the steps needed to help everyone succeed with us.
So a great quote from Eleanor Roosevelt was, "It's not fair to ask of others what you are not willing to do yourself." And that just reminds me of the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. Because if I'm not willing to do it, why should you? And as AVID, we try to set the example for the rest of the school to do better and to try to be better. Another role that we have in the life, we improve. We are here and we are reason it really shows you quality for our school. Keep your head up and your heart strong. And when you can't find the sunshine, feel the sunshine. These are in our little bathrooms that we painted. Whenever you walk in, it just makes everybody feel included, that you're loved, that when you are down, you lift yourself back up. Yeah, these are everywhere. There's a lot of them.
It might seem cheesy, but it does make a difference having it right in front of you, reading those positive words that you might not have the opportunity to hear.
So next is management by fact. Measuring and analyzing our performances as students and as a school. Performance measures and indicators should support organizational evaluation, alignment, and decision-making by the administration and the students. So as students, we manage our grades, our time, our extracurriculars, and teachers, they manage data from all the students everywhere. And they come up with great big old information graphs that they use to find how they can improve or where we're at currently. And in AVID, we have set things just like that. And in this case, it's our student enrollment for the last 8 years. We use our planners to improve our time management skills. We do a grade check each week at AVID to stay on top of our grades and academic goals in all of our classes. So with me, my planner, I organize my classes by color coding. Each class I do a different color and I highlight that when I know I have done. And having everything in one set place really helps me feel organized in everything because, you know, I'm a junior and college is coming up, so I have a lot of that stuff. And like she said yesterday, we don't have any college course. And having what I need to go to my school, the community services I need to have, what I can do for extracurriculars, and what I need all in one place really just helps me. For focus note checks and wrapping these notes help us retain information better so we can be successful in our classes. Having a certain color code for me for vocabulary, questions and connections I might have, summaries, and not all being in one place, and I can go look at them and looking them back helps me in my classes.
In the bottom right photo, you can see the planner that's going to be extended to all the students at Newburgh High School as we are in the process of achieving our national demonstrations.
We added electric classroom, we use 90-minute tutorials to explore points of communications, which we call POCs. In this class, students have a lowest grade of 90, and point of confusions are one question that you have on the lowest grade class that if you really need help with, you need to your session. So we talk to our peers about it, all in the same group, and they ask questions, and this is a time to actually organize their thoughts to carefully explain what we have with. And having peers that help you, it really benefits you in class. Added school classes can use collaborative study groups to explore communications and practice skills. An example of our added tutorials, you can see the collaborative space that we have using the different colors, the different graphic organizers, and just having everybody contribute to the question really helps.
We look really good. in that photo.
That's all for our presentation. Thank you.
You know what? They deserve another hand for such an outstanding job. And thank you for recognizing our core values. Wonderful, thank you. And at this time, we would like for Mrs. Clark, our vice chair, to read resolution 2022-04, recognizing April as month of the military child.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas during the month of April, Craven County Schools is proud to recognize the children of the brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces for their support of their parents and caregivers and for their sacrifice as members of military families. And whereas more than 65,000 children of military families attend school in North Carolina, along with over 250,000 children of veterans. And whereas these children learn early on the sacrifice, commitment, and honor that it takes to protect our nation's freedoms, and are witnesses to their parents' integrity and dedication as they answer the call to duty. And whereas these children are a source of pride and honor to us all, and it is only fitting that we take time to recognize their contributions, celebrate their spirit, and let our men and women in uniform know that while they're taking care of us, we're taking care of their children. And whereas the recognition of a month of the military child allows us to pay tribute to all military children for their commitment, their struggles, and their unconditional support of our troops, because when parents serve in the military, their kids are heroes too. And now, therefore, be resolved by the Craven County Board of Education, and we recognize April 2022 as the month of the military child, and collectively urge all of our citizens, businesses, and government leaders to honor, support, and thank our military kids. Adopted this day, the 14th of April, 2022. Thank you all.
And at this time, we ask for a motion to adopt the resolution 2022-04, recognizing April as the month of the military child in honor and in celebration of Craven County Schools military connected students.
So moved. Second.
It has been moved and second that we adopt resolution 2022-04, recognizing April as month of the military child in honor and in celebration of Craven County Schools military connected students. Are you ready for the question? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Aye it has, and this resolution is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're ready for our recognitions.
We want to thank Kara Burkeen, Miguel Cato, Aslin, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name, Murray, and Emily Pepper from New Bern High School for taking the time to lead our Pledge of Allegiance and present the character word of the month.
Okay, now you want to take it. Thank you.
Yeah. You look good in that picture. You look good. Congratulations, thank you. Emily. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I call on Cara IPOC to recognize the winner of the Dr. Brian Johnson STEM Grant.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Each year, the PI Board elects to honor the speaker of the PI Annual Luncheon with a grant in the subject of their choice. Dr. Brian Johnson, National Superintendent of the Year finalist, was the guest speaker at the 2021 luncheon. Dr. Johnson chose STEM as the subject he wanted to his honorary grants focus. Would the members of the PI Board, along with the winners of the award, join us here at the front to be recognized? Mr. Brown. Okay, good. This year's recipient, oh, we still have members coming. There you go. This year's recipient for the recognition is Let's Have a Moment of Science, $2,000. Caitlin Watson, principal with Erica Ruth, Grover C. Fields Middle School. Congratulations to Grover C. Fields Middle School and to these wonderful recipients. And be sure to save the date, Tuesday, June 14th, for the next PI Annual Luncheon at the New Bern Riverfront Convention Center. Let's congratulate them. Thank you.
I call on Board Member Kim Smith to recognize the winners of the Aspire to Inspire Grant.
Thank you, Vice Chair Clark. In honor of Addison McCoy, the Aspire to Inspire Grant was established by the McCoy family in 2017 as a yearly grant through Partners in Education. Would the McCoy family, along with representatives from PI and the winners of the grants, join us up front? The winners are Can You Dig It? $500, Sarah DeLatte, Meldon McCoy, Kim Scott, and Dr. Suzanne Averett from Oaks Road Academy. It's Electric, 4th grade gets lit, $500, Laura Wilson, Roger Bell, New Tech Academy. This grant is for hands-on activities relating to a math and/or science learning activity that the teacher most likely would have purchased the items using their own funds. The grant was made available to all 4th grade teachers for the 2021-22 school year. Congratulations to our winners, and get ready, 5th grade teachers. Next year, the grant is coming your way.
I call on Board Member Victor Dove to recognize student Acacia Bragg. Ms. Bragg, would you come forward? You still read it, Mr. Dove. Oh, sorry, sir.
I was gonna let her come forward. Acacia Bragg is a high school student with a heart you will never forget. Those that don't know Acacia already know how amazing she is. For those that haven't had an opportunity to interact with this remarkable student that is currently a senior at Havelock High School, once you do, you will never forget her. Acacia presented Captain Ratty's Seafood and Steakhouse with a special gift she created based on a need she encountered. Not only did she address the need, but she also wanted to be able to help others. Acacia is visually impaired, and after visiting several downtown establishments last summer, she quickly learned that most restaurants do not offer menus in Braille. Acacia asked for a copy of Captain Ratty's menu and decided to take it upon herself to create this much-needed menu so when other visually impaired patrons visited the restaurant, they would be able to read what was available. Chef Smoke, along with co-owner Carol Stubbs, were very grateful for Acacia's gift and were excited that she had chosen their place to offer their first Braille menu in downtown New Bern. Mrs. Stubbs shared, "We are truly honored that Acacia chose Captain Ratty's, and we invite her to come back to assist Chef Smoke in the kitchen." Acacia's parents shared how wonderful the Craven County School staff has been in accommodating Acacia and have provided her with many great learning opportunities. A special thank you to Mrs. Jaffe for her dedication and heart, and Mrs. Barber for her passion. You both are amazing educators. Acacia, we are extremely proud of you and all of your accomplishments, and we look forward to hearing more of your many achievements. And tonight we ask Acacia, her amazing educators, and Chef Smoke to please join us for this special recognition.
She can quote too. Right. I call on Board Member Kimberly Smith to recognize the month of the military child.
Thank you. In 1986, April was designated as Month of the Military Child by Caspar Weinberger, then Secretary of Defense. And the color purple, a blend of all the colors of the service branches, became the color representing our military kids. Starting with Purple Up Day for military kids on April 8th, Craven County Schools is recognizing our military-connected students throughout April. The theme for this year's celebrations is Military Kids Color Our Community. District-wide, schools were invited to chalk the walk and paint their school spirit rocks with the theme, while individual schools design their own special accolades. Tonight, the board read a resolution marking April as the month of the military child, and then a representation of our military-connected students will tell us what they believe we should know about military kids. These students represent a cross-section of the almost 3,100 military-connected students in our district, which is 25% of our total population. They have done a fabulous job representing their military-connected peers throughout the district. When we support our military-connected students in school, we also help their military parents stay focused and mission ready. Listen to our Craven County students in the prepared video share with you some of the things they want you to know about being a military kid.
Military kid is fun because you get to collect little pieces of culture wherever you go.
Military kids adapt easily to new situations, and we aren't afraid to face the challenge head on.
Being a military kid, I can experience a lot more things that I couldn't experience where I used to live. One thing I want you to know about military kids is how your dad or mom get stronger for the one thing I want you to know about military kids is you really want to I want you to know about is that sometimes the person that is in the military has to go. One thing I want you to know about military kids is we are kind. One thing I want you to know about military kids is we are thoughtful. One thing I want you to know about military kids is that one thing I want you to know about military kids is they have success. One thing I want you to know about military kids is that we are brave. One thing I want you to know about military kids is it's okay to miss your parents and always be nice to others. One thing I want you to know about military kids is you can gain support from your friends at school. One thing I want you to know about military kids is that they are well loved. One thing I want you to know about military kids is they have respect. One thing I want you to know about military kids is that their families protect other families. One thing I want you to know about military kids is they are brave. Being a military kid is mostly scary because whenever your parents go on a trip, there is a chance of them being gone. Being a military kid means that you have to move around from place to place, but that means that you're able to make long-lasting friendships with kids all over the world.
Being a military kid is kind of hard because your parents are gone for months at a time.
Military kid is kind of hard, but also kind of fun at the same time. You get to move around and go places that you never expect to meet new people, but also you have to leave all those people behind.
Thank you to all of our military connected students for your sacrifices. We know when your parents serve that you serve too. We're extremely proud of you, your resiliency, and your perseverance that you demonstrate on a daily basis. And we're a stronger community because of you guys. Tonight, we celebrate the following students during the month of the military child. From Havelock High, Ezra Jimenez. From Havelock High, Gracie Orange. From Havelock High, Ethan Rife. From Tucker Creek Middle School, Elizabeth Blanco. From Tucker Creek, Dylan Craig. Also from Tucker Creek, Sophia Gocklin. Tucker Creek, Andrew Rowan Marquise. Tucker Creek, Ramon Rodriguez. And all the rest are going to be from WJ Gerganis, Madeline Dolan, Travis Elder, Alexander Ellis, Oliver Grinstyle, Colton Hill, Karina Lang, Sierra Orline. I'm sorry if I said the name wrong. Is her, how do you say it? Okay, thank you. Because everybody deserves to hear it said correctly. John Pruden, Noah Starks, Capri Wagner, Alexander Wolf, and Haley Zeitz.
Thank you so much for this.
Mr. Shakari Park will recognize the April Essential Peace Employee.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Is Mr. James Cobb here? Mr. Cobb? Thank you. If you would, front and center, as they like to say. Okay. We always enjoy very much this recognition of exception or the essential pieces in our big puzzle here in Craven County. And Mr. Cobb has been nominated to be recognized tonight as a teacher assistant in the Exceptional Children's Program at West Craven High School. He's an essential piece of our puzzle because of his daily interactions with the students he serves. He has a great rapport, not only with each student, but also with the staff. He shows up for work each day, ready to serve our students with special needs. His overall work ethic demonstrates his dedication to education, as well as positive relationship with staff and students. So tonight, it's our pleasure to recognize Mr. James Cobb. Yes, sir.
This is, I've known him all of our lives. This is the most quiet I have ever seen him. He's a preacher. He preaches when he's not even preaching.
We recognize Manning.
They don't have a name. Should I?
Ask Francis just to introduce him.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Chairman Brewer, if we could just have our new board member, Reverend Brent Manning, stand up, and we're not going to swear him in tonight, but would like everyone to see who you are, and welcome.
At this time, we're asking Ms. Clark to give us a summary of the information presented at the April 12th meeting.
Yes, ma'am. It will be brief. I'm going to ask that you refer to our YouTube channel for viewing the recorded work session and our agenda, which is available on cravenk12.org under About Us. And thank you.
Okay.
Take a break.
Yes, I know that was it.
Oh, sorry, ma'am.
I'm glad I couldn't find it. At this time, we will take a 10-minute break.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. Call the meeting back to order, please. Thank you.
This Ms. Altman egging me on.
At this time, we call on Ms. Denise Altman to give us a presentation on the local current expense and capital outlay budget.
Good evening, board members. Just going to give you a quick summary. Because there was a lot of information provided to you on Tuesday at the work session regarding the local current expense and capital outlay budgets. You have the PowerPoint in your assembly presentation as well as the detailed document. So just as a reminder, in our request to Craven County government, we are asking for an additional $300,000 in local appropriations to support our local current expense budget. And we are asking for an additional $44,453 for the capital outlay budget. The additional amounts that we are requesting in the local current expense budget represent an increase in salary and benefit costs for next fiscal year, as well as small increases for an SRO match at Aspire and some increases in our property insurance and utility expenses. We are allocating $2,032,864 from our fund balance to offset the necessary increases to the fiscal year 22-23 expense budget. And this request must be approved by our Board of Education before we carry it forward to the county commissioners at their May 2nd meeting. So quick summary. I didn't go through all of the individual slides as we had already done that on Tuesday. Do you have any additional questions for me?
Mine were technical. I still haven't emailed you, but they're not anything that would change it. But I would like for you to just kind of give a broad overview of the percentage of our funding, where it comes from, so how this local budget plays into our overall budget.
Okay. The total budget this year is a lot higher than what it has been in previous years because of the ESSER funds. So in the past, our local current expense budget was around 133 million in total for all of our budget funds. The local current expense is generally about 27 million of that. State is the largest part of our budget, and that is over $80 million a year. And federal in the past, where it has ranged from 8 to 10 million, is now upwards of 50 to 60 million for this year. So the state portion is the largest portion. The local current expense portion is generally about 26 out of this year, about 150 million.
And is it fair for people that are looking at our budget, that the local, say teachers, the majority of our teachers are not paid from local funds, right?
Correct.
Could you sort of give us a little background on that?
Sure. Most of our teaching positions and principal positions are funded from state funds. The local funds cover positions such as custodians. Most of our custodians do come out of state, but we do have to fund some from there. We pay for a lot of our office staff, a lot of our central office employees, a lot of our secretaries and bookkeepers, and there are a large number of positions such as some of our technology support and things that come from local. Facilities maintenance workers, things like that. The majority of our employees that are teachers or psychologists or TAs, those are generally funded from state.
You know, I know that. I just wanted to make sure
Oh,
everybody
sure.
else understood it, because some of the questions I was getting since then. And the other thing is our local supplements.
Mhm.
Could you explain why we use those, and the kind of, I don't know, short history of how the commissioners helped us move
Oh, sure.
and how that works?
Local teaching supplements are basically to reward our employees and maintain our, staff. They support our teachers, our administrators at our schools, and we started out years ago with just a flat rate, and it was around $2,000 from what I remember, $2,100. We worked that up to about $2,300, and then we started working to get that to a percentage of income so that it would help those that had been with us for longer periods of time. So we've worked it up from 7% to 8% to 8.5% to 9% to 10%. And we are currently at 10%, which is one of the higher rates in the state, especially in our region. So all of our teachers and instructional support staff receive the 10% supplement, which helps boost their pay and helps keep them with us. And it is a recruitment tool as well.
Right, because other counties keep raising theirs. So, you have the base pay. So for those of you that, you've got the base pay, but without the help from the county commissioners to give that supplement, that puts us a little bit higher. So thank your county commissioners next time but because we would not be able to do that without it.
Right. And that is all funded from the local current expense budget, the
Thank
local
you.
supplement piece.
Right, and I would add that our recruitment and retention, critically important, the retention component, and that's why we have to be so competitive. The other thing I would mention is facilities. Generally is the responsibility of the local government. And so you'll see that that's a large part of the money that we ask to maintain equipment and facilities and that type thing. So we certainly thank our county commissioners for that. The rare times that the state comes in on facilities is if there's a statewide school bond or something of that nature that brings additional dollars. But in general, even local bonds, all of that is local community and local support.
Right. Our local facilities budget is all in the local current expense fund. And, generally speaking, things like insurance, property insurance, utilities, things of that nature are supported by our local current expense budget as well, because none of those costs can come from state funds.
And what is the most often asked question about facilities that we all get? What happened to the lottery money? So you might want to give a little.
The lottery money is kind of infused in our state allotments. So it's really hard to trace exactly what we get. The funding formulas that I have seen, you can get a number that will provide you what Craven County Schools receives from the state lottery, but it is put into different PRCs, which is programs within the state budget, and it supports things like our TA allotment budget. So it's not, we don't ever get a true picture of $10,000 went towards TAs and 5,000 went towards teachers. We don't get a nice little, spreadsheet that shows us the breakdown. We just receive, Craven County Schools received X number of dollars from the North Carolina State Lottery, and it goes to support our allotments that come from the state, that come from DPI. And we just get a portion of the funding from the lottery. And the other part actually goes to help pay for debt service, which goes directly to the county.
I think the prevailing feeling of educators across the state is that the lottery money was not supposed to be supplanted, but in fact, it ended up covering and being supplanted. And in turn, I think the general feeling is that we didn't really end up with a lot of extra money from from playing the lottery.
Funding sources can change.
Yeah.
That's it, from what I got.
Anyone else has any more questions, comments?
Ms. Boomer, may I speak?
Yes,
I
you
just
may.
want to make clear to those in the audience and the listening public that we have received lots of ESSER funds this year. And there are certain line items they have to be used for. Some is for learning loss. Every item that we have been able to use to improve our facilities, we have done that with those monies and we'll continue to do that, which helps the county and our request from them. But not all of the ESSER funds can be used, just for facilities. So we are trying to be good stewards of that money as well.
For those who are listening, who might not know what ESSER money is, can you kind of give us a definition? Explain
I don't know what
it
the
is.
acronym wording is.
Secondary. I got it. Elementary and secondary. There you go.
Funding received from the federal government to help with COVID-19.
Okay.
So it can be used towards learning loss. It can be used towards any kind of safety measures to protect the health and safety of the students and staff in the buildings.
Such as like air conditioning, improving of that. We could not build a building with that.
Right.
So there, every time you get money, the very strict guidelines we have to follow, but we, again, are trying to be good stewards with that.
Mhm.
And that would offset what we would typically ask the commissioner. So we've tried to use that money to to be good partners with them as well.
Right, you've told us, but I'm thinking that some parents might not really know what it is. Thank you.
I think
Madam
also making that tie between the air conditioning as an example and COVID that we went through and keeping our facilities safe, how important those funds were to upgrade equipment so that we could have our children in school in front of their teachers.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ms. Clark?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted the record to reflect that there is no public input on the budget tonight.
Okay. Any more conversation about this? At this time then, you need to get this approved, right? Adopted? You need to get this adopted, right?
Yes, ma'am.
ASAP? Okay, at this time, I entertain a motion that we adopt the fiscal year 2023 current expense and capital outlay budget request for Craven County Schools.
I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we adopt the fiscal year 2023 current expense and capital outlay budget request for Craven County Schools. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, I've had, and this is adopted. Thank you, Mrs. Altman. And at this time, we will get our public input. Ms. Clark, do we have any?
We do. I thought we were going to defer that after the break.
Are we gonna take another break?
We do it after the consent agenda.
Okay. All right, so we take a break. So I'm confused. What are you saying?
Because if we were gonna have the public, the agenda says that we were gonna have a break after the public, the hearing, but nobody signed up for the hearing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So then there's business under that before another break, and then public input follows the break. That way people can leave if they don't want to.
Okay.
That's what my agenda, is that correct? Okay.
Okay, so right now on mine, I have Board of Education meeting minutes.
That is correct.
Okay, so at this time, we would like to, it is recommended that Dr. Miller recommends that the Board of Education approve the board meeting minutes for the following meeting dates. March 15th, Board of Education work session, March 17th, Board of Education meeting, and March 24th, Board of Education continuous improvement training. I need to get a motion to approve those minutes. It has been moved and second that we approve the board meeting minutes for those dates. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have the minutes are approved. Now, the superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve the closed session meeting minutes for the following meeting dates, which is March 15th, Board of Education closed session meeting minutes. I need to get a motion to, all right, it has been moved and second that we also approve the work session minutes. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda? If there are none, I ask that we entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'm confused. Do we take care of the
We're gonna do
HR
this-
addendum
We do
later?
this after this,
Okay,
okay?
Thank
It's two different items.
thank you.
All right, so I need to get a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
It has been moved and second that we approve the consent agenda. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Of those, okay, I has and it is approved. What Ms. Alpart is talking about, the addendum that we have. So we need to look over the addendum. You have any questions? We need to get this approved. And we need a roll call vote for this. I entertain a motion to approve the addendum
I so move.
for the human resource report,
10A.
10A. All in favor? You
We
said
didn't do
you,
a second.
you
I
second?
I second.
All right, it has been moved and second that we approve the addendum for the human resource report 10A. All in favor?
Well, I believe.
Roll call vote, that's right.
She went on without
Ms.
me.
Wait, that's fine, because you already presented it. All we had to do was vote on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All righty, roll call vote for the HR 10A addendum report. Ms. Frances Boomer,
Yes.
Ms. Naomi Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Victor Dove,
Yes.
Mr. Carl Ipock,
Yes.
Miss Kelly Muse is not here. Miss Kimberly Smith,
No.
motion passed. You have a quorum.
Thank you.
Accepted. And am I allowed to stand and make some announcements?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Boone.
Good job. Last month, you approved the hiring of a director of secondary education, and she is here tonight. I'd like her to stand up, Dr. Shawana Sellers. She's our new director of secondary education. Ms. Sellers comes to us from Washington County, where she has served as the HR director. She has also served both as elementary and middle school principal, assistant principal at the middle school level, director of an alternative learning center, a high school math teacher, and adjunct faculty member at a community college. She earned her doctorate and EDS from East Carolina University, her master's of school administration from the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, and her bachelor's of math from UNC Wilmington, where she was a North Carolina teaching fellow. We are excited to have her join our team. Again, welcome, Dr. Shawana Sellers.
Good.
Other exciting announcements, both for those in the audience and those listening. So I have some new administrative moves I'd like to share with you that the board just approved. We have the new assistant principal at Tucker Creek Middle School, Miss Katie Chadwick. The new assistant principal, Roger Bell New Tech Academy, Stacy DeMattia. We have the new principal of Bridgeton Elementary School, Rachel Ewer. We have moving to an administrative position at Havelock High School, Jessica Fortescue. Stacy Gillette will be the new principal of H.J. McDonald Middle School. The principal of West Craven Middle School will be Stephanie King. Christina Lowe, the new assistant principal at Grover C. Fields Middle School. And moving to leadership positions at Central Services, we have both Erica Phillips and Pammy Reese. And the new principal of J.T. Barber Elementary School will be Mr. Ty Mac Willis. And some reassignments I would like to share as well. Lots of moves today. Stephen Curry will now be the principal of Havelock Elementary School. All of these are effective July 1. Kim Scott, new assistant principal at Creekside Elementary School. Paul Swab, new assistant principal at Graham A. Barden. Courtney Merkel, assistant principal at Havelock Elementary. Anna Day, assistant principal, J.T. Barber Elementary. Tyshawn Bryant, assistant principal, James W. Smith. Pam Collins, assistant principal, Havelock Middle School. Sharon Richardson, assistant principal, Oaks Road Academy. Keith Davis, assistant principal, Trent Park Elementary, and Lalani Camden, assistant principal at New Bern High School. I'm very excited to have all these folks moving into new leadership roles, and I'm excited where they're going to take our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Boone. We were going to have a break just in case we had some children. And we thought that some of the topics might be inappropriate, but since we don't have any children, can we go on with the public input?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Clark.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, we have four folk who wish to present. I want to establish the ground rules. The speakers will address the board from the speaker's podium at the front of the room and will begin the remarks by stating their name and address. Speakers are expected to be civil in their language and presentation. Public comment is not intended to require the board to answer any impromptu questions. However, the board, in accordance with its policy, will include a discussion of public input, at which time the board may discuss issues raised in the public comment portion of the meeting. First person is Heather McManus, and she wishes to speak on multi-topics.
Good evening. My name is Heather McManus and my address is 159 Lower Drive. Sorry, I've never done that before. Sorry. So I do wish to speak on a couple of different issues. Last month when I was here, I addressed the iPads and some sexually explicit content that my son was exposed to via pop-up ad on YouTube on his school iPad, which has since been turned back over to the school. I actually received a phone call from one of his teachers today to ask me the extent of which he was allowed to get on his iPad. And I explained to her that the extent that he was allowed to get on the iPad was only to do his benchmarks. And she reassured me that he could not leave that screen without a teacher's password. So that's why I agreed to that. In our conversation, I asked her, she said, is there anything else? And I said, well, let me ask you, how's he been since the iPad has gone away? And she said that he is more engaged. He is turning in higher quality work, and that his overall attitude is much, much improved. So I have some questions and I will submit them on the Let's Talk communication portal. But just to kind of go over a few of them, I'm genuinely curious if our board gets briefed on the number of cyberbullying incidents that happen, the average number of hours that an iPad is in use, and have that broken down by, elementary, middle, and high school, or even by grade if you want to. I know that from my personal experience in elementary school, it's not used a lot, but it seems like once they hit middle school, and that middle school is tough, right? I hear it all the time. There's all kinds of issues arise, even with my own child, and I'd like to think I'm a pretty involved parent. We've had issues this year. The number of, so like the average number of hours in use and the number of times that inappropriate content has been accessed by our students. I also am wondering what we are truly doing to engage our community. Getting our teachers and our administrators and even our central office staff involved with our community. I feel like there is a huge divide there. I don't know if, I don't necessarily know how to do that. I am willing to participate and help bring people to the table if I can. But I just want to mention that we've got a lot of great minds in this room. And I feel like if we put them together, we could really do a lot of good work and support our teachers and our students. One idea that I had might be a little extra, if you will, when I ran it by somebody, but just having like a work session with your parents and your teachers and your students, maybe not necessarily together, but having the same type of a situation that you have with your Board of Education with parents, teachers, and students. I would say monthly, that's probably way extra, maybe quarterly would be better, but that was just something that I wanted to bring up. Another thing is the school scheduling. I have heard that our guidance counselors make the schedule, and I respect that. And before I say anything, I do want to say I'm not trying to encourage micromanaging of a school schedule by no means, but I feel like our guidance counselors need to be empowered to be able to schedule the students with their core academics in the morning as much as possible. From personal experience, I have a 6th grader. He has 2 electives, first and second period. I understand somebody's going to have to go first. I really understand that. However, when you have a child going into English language arts right before lunch, he's hungry, and then when he comes right out of lunch, he has math. He's like in a, carb coma. How much is he really uptaking? And then his very last period of the day is science. What are they really, truly retaining? And I know it's not a perfect world, but I just feel like what can be done? Can anything be done to say, what can we do to help you make this happen? That would be wonderful. And the last thing is, what can be done for the last few weeks of the school to kind of reinvigorate a love of learning, make it fun, fun for the teachers and fun for the kids. Because I feel like with the learning loss, there's come a love loss for learning and going to school and it really being a lovely place for the kids to be and the teachers, everybody. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next presenter is Michelle Stout.
Michelle Stout, 1622 Rem Avenue. And just to let y'all know, I am so nervous right now. I've never done anything like this before. But I felt very compelled to come tonight after last month's public input. I know we're not supposed to use names, but there was a particular educator that came and presented herself to you guys after the work session presentation. I felt the need to give you guys my experience with this. I have a freshman this year that I obtained during COVID through family loss, so he's not my child biologically. He does have an IEP, and we don't have the same relationship as that I have with my children. I've been a stakeholder in Craven County Schools since 2005 and still have a junior biologically at the high school. Never had any kind of issues like this before. I was not engaged because I felt like everything was fine. On October 24th, I was laying in bed on a Sunday night flipping through Facebook, and I saw a post about the sexual education class that is being presented at high school. I saw some comments that concerned me, so I went to my email, which is about 10,000 emails deep. Okay. There was an email sent. It was sent on Sunday, October 3rd at 5:34 p.m., letting me know that there was a Zoom orientation class for the parents Monday, October 4th at 6:30 p.m. 25-hour notice. I work until 7 o'clock every night. And this was also for a class that was beginning on October 6th, 2 days later. This class is opt out, not opt in. So by the time I learned about it, he was already in class 4 weeks. So the next morning on the way to school, I said, hey, so are you doing this Making Proud Choices class in school? And he said, yeah. I said, so what are you guys talking about? You know, stuff. Anything you want to add to that? Nope. That's what I got. So I sent an email directly to the teacher because I don't engage on online berating. And I just simply asked her for a copy of the curriculum because I want to be able to have further conversations with my student and kind of know what they're talking about. The reply that I received, and I'm going to quote from her email, concerning our curriculum, Making Proud Choices, I am not permitted to make copies of our curriculum per copyright. But I will give you I will give a copy to New Bern High School where you may review it. Let's see how best to do this with, I'm not allowed to say names. If you would like, I would also talk via phone, Zoom. And forgive me, I'm not a copyright specialist, but I'm pretty sure that only applies if I'm trying to sell the curriculum. I'm just trying to talk to my kid about it. So back and forth emails went. I checked back because I never heard about a time or a date. And to be fair, at this time, outside people weren't allowed in the school, except for the teachers and the administrators and the students. So there was a lot of talk about the meeting maybe via Zoom, but we were able to figure out a time for me to come in. By this time, the class was done. Everything was already done. I met with the teacher and the head health person, and there was a book this thick, and she said, okay, what do you want to talk about? I have no idea. I don't know what's being taught. I read the letter that was attached to the email. It's standard sex education. And then I don't even know. So I guess why I'm here tonight really is to just ask to make it opt in. Parents need to be able to, to have some kind of control over what is being taught to their children. And I come tonight to assure you that what my experience was with this situation was not at all what was presented at all. And we're hurting our children, in my opinion. I wish I had more time, maybe next month.
Every month.
Thank you guys so much for what you did. My name is Sean Stout.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, our next presenter is Mr. Alan Fink. Oh, Glenn Fink, I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, move aside.
Yes. Sorry, Mr. Fink.
Good evening. I'm Glenn Fink, 646 Goose Creek Road, and I will be reading because of time management. Making Proud Choices program is referred to as MPC from here forward. Here's the rest of the story. The stated purpose is the reduction of sexually transmitted infections and teen pregnancies. This program is a Trojan horse with health information and a lot of indoctrination. A review of the program teaching guide was performed with a detailed report provided to you on January 14, 22. There was zero response from anybody until the public promotion campaign last meeting. During the review, we asked to see additional instructional materials, including videos referenced in the teacher's guide. The response provided was not true based on the presentation that was given last month. I'm disappointed in the administration's defense of the MPC program. The provider Center of Health Policy and Inequalities Research at Duke is a policy organization, not an educator. They got an ideology and an agenda. The handout has website information on that. The program also touted the American Psychological Association and the American Medical Association. These are lobbyist groups that focus on policy. And it's policy that is taking us down, and bad policy, I should say. Your presentation emphasized alignment between the required subjects, standards, and the MPC program, including related unpacking documents. Unpacking documents are not standards. DPI uses this strategy to influence curriculum that is under local control. That's Powers and Duties General Statute 115C-44, Section 3333A. You have a good curriculum and teachers that meets the standards that's used here in your school district now at West Craven and up until recently Havelock. It was stated several times, citizens concerned about the program are confused, don't understand the context, or just plain don't understand it all. For example, negotiations was explained by affirmative consent. The term negotiation was changed to communications, but the teaching point or dynamic is the same. In many cases, the communication should be just say no. I'm confused why the administration strongly promoting and defending this program when it's left optional to the schools. Inferring the MCP program favorably impacts the teen birth rates in Craven County is absolutely not supported by the data. During the presentation, Ms. Hunter admitted the STI rates were still high. Due to the time constraint, I'm not going over the statistics, but they're in the handout. MPC resource list was generally mentioned during the presentation, but providing this to the students is a program requirement. Why? Their agenda and indoctrination. The resources of Teen Duke Health Club document states, quote, here's a list of good websites for young people. These websites give you real answers and factual information from trained educators and professionals. One of these websites is MTV. Make no mistake, Duke and this board are endorsing these sites and where they lead. The board should be willing to provide this list for review by all citizens in this county to see what they think. Additional points. The parent's role is not emphasized enough. In the presentation, the term trusted adult was used, followed by hopefully a parent. The training guide typically uses trusted adult. Abstinence is the only sure action to prevent STI and pregnancies, yet it's not strongly emphasized. It's just one of the options, and it doesn't even warrant a module of its own. Integration of sexual preferences has nothing to do with the program. STI and pregnancy reduction practices are independent of this topic. A program video clip stated a girl, quote, owes it to herself to explore all her related pregnancy options. There are only two options. You give birth or you murder the baby. This isn't applicable to the program and is unacceptable. Planned Parenthood is a trusted program resource, and we all know they give other services, but they're in the business of abortions. Wordsmithing does not make the program better. I'm again asking the board to remove the program from our schools. There is no reason for taxpayers to pay taxpayers' funds to a third party for this sort of indoctrination detrimental and divisive to our students and the society as a whole. So I hope you'll reconsider.
Last speaker is Alan Eric. How do you pronounce your last name, sir?
Harold.
Thank you.
Harold.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. I welcome the opportunity to speak to the board and the audience that's here tonight. My name is Alan Harrop. I live at 909 Cara Drive here in New Bern. I've lived in New Bern about 10 years. The reason I'm presenting to you tonight is that I have been approached by a number of parents who have children in the schools with concern about this Proud Choice program that the two prior speakers just addressed. And I am a trained clinical psychologist. I have a PhD in clinical psychology. I was also the director of mental health for the entire Department of Correction. And I also started and conducted the first ever sex offender program in the Department of Correction. So I have some background experience with some of the topics that are subject to this program. I have a couple of questions to start off with. The first one is, why is this special program needed? Are we saying that the ongoing health program that was in existence before was inadequate? Were the teachers inadequate? I don't understand why we even had to add it. That's the first question. Second thing is, what is the agenda and the purpose behind the people who initiated this? This program, although it ostensibly comes from Duke, it actually originated in California. And I don't know how many of you believe that things that originated in California are necessarily good for Craven County. The other thing I wanted to mention in terms of my review, I did have an opportunity to look at the curriculum. And I did a thorough review with it. I met with Ms. Hunter the first time. After meeting with our group the first time, she requested that if we met again, that I should not be there. I guess I asked some questions that she didn't like or whatever. She never explained why. One of my concerns about this program are the following. This program introduces abnormal sexual practices and attempts to normalize them. For example, students are explained about oral sex, anal sex, and other sexual activities that they are introduced to. There are also transgenderism. There are only two genders, really, biologically, but they are introduced to a variety of genders. And this particular transgenderism has a lot of problems. The people who follow transgender doctrination and go down that path have substantially higher incidence of self-mutilation, depression, and a suicide rate that's over 20 times higher than the average person. So introducing these topics to these teenagers whose own identity is being formulated, in my opinion, amounts to child abuse. And in fact, the American College of Pediatrics used that same term. They called it child abuse also. So these topics are being introduced. There was a role play session in the curriculum in which students were asked to assume that they were homosexuals, that they would address each other as homosexuals. And these kinds of things that these children are not asking for this information. I don't believe the parents are asking the Craven County school system to teach their children these topics, and they're not necessary. All right, I just want to mention about the sexualization of children. What I think is going on is that children, by introducing these things in the variety of ways and some of the material that they access, is sexualizing children at an age where they don't need that sexualization. They will develop, and that is the family responsibility. It is not the public school system. And here's the thing. If they say in the curriculum that they that they also support, they do mention abstinence, although very vaguely. The problem with that is, let's use an analogy of you have someone and you teach them how to bake a cake, and you teach them from scratch, put all the ingredients together, do all these things. And then after that, you say, well, we don't expect you to bake or eat a cake. That's psychologically inappropriate. People don't work that way psychologically. When you introduce all these things, you are inviting these students to do things that they wouldn't ordinarily do. My last comment is just to follow up what Glenn said, is that if you are not at this point willing to withdraw the program, I would at least ask you to consider establishing a sunset, a period of time in which you would then have a thorough review of the program, including input from the parents and community as to whether you want to continue it, so it doesn't just continue on its own. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, that concludes our public input.
We are. Chairman's report. Ms. Wagner, you on teacher appreciation?
Good evening. In honor of Teacher Appreciation Week, I wanted to share with the board, every year you always try to do something very special to recognize the efforts of our educators. And we know now more than ever, it is definitely a great time to be able to show them how much we appreciate them. So in the past, for several years, you have done sweet tea and jeans, which has been very popular. And so we had explored some options through our goal team to see maybe if we could do something a little extra this year.
We need a little extra this year.
Yeah, so I have an option for you to consider. As you know, during that week, we've got a lot going on. And you're already ready for something extra, I see. And so we're very thankful for all of our community partners, because our community partners really step it up that week too, and really spoil our teachers. And like we all know, they really appreciate that week and they deserve it all year long. So on May 3rd is our red carpet gala. So that is on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, which would be May 5th, we wanted to do something to align with Cinco de Mayo. So it's Nacho Average Teacher. And I met with Ms. Wayan to see if she would be willing to come up, and you know that she would come up with a Mexican themed meal that would be not only for our educators, but for all of our staff. Because without them, they really support our educators in the work that they do as well, our teacher assistants and everyone else in the building. So Ms. Wayan put together a menu with me, and I just wanted to make sure that you all were okay with it. It would be tacos, as well as tortilla chips and Spanish rice with black bean salsa, Mexican corn, sour cream, queso cheese sauce, and of course our sweet or unsweet tea. And this isn't something we've done in the past where we've done a full meal. And we thought that it would be gracious to have it where it would be available for everyone. So just wanted to see if that would be something that you all would like to do. And of course, have the jeans for the week, have the meal for Thursday for all staff. And then, of course, the drink would be included. And then I'm sure everyone else will be showering them that week also.
Ms. Wagner, can I say something? I would like to add a thing that I'd like to draw out a teacher, and I serve as their sub.
Okay.
Their substitute.
Just a friendly inquiry. I love the idea of the meal, and I'm heartened that you say for all staff. The question is though, who's supposed to prepare it? Nutritional staff, right?
Yes.
So they essentially have an extra duty when we're appreciating everyone?
It wouldn't be an extra duty because they would already have to prepare the meal for that day. So this would be
part of their responsibility.
Well, how are they going to be honored?
And actually, they have been honored. So we've done them already this year. I don't know, when we did the recognitions of all the different segments that we've celebrated, they were actually celebrated back in December.
As were other, I mean, I'm not fighting you. I think it's a wonderful idea, but I think it's important to recognize that many different subsets were recognized. And I think we need to be mindful that if we talk about celebrating all staff, we actually need to celebrate all staff, which would include the nutritional staff as well.
Yes, ma'am. And they have been celebrated.
Well, again, we're mixing apples and oranges. This is a wonderful meal, but they're going to have to put forth extra effort as well-intentioned and as well qualified as they are.
I like that you've got the date and the meal because so many partners, churches and things provide meals for the school families. So I really like that you've got that date out there. So that's, and also it gives them an opportunity if they want a duty-free lunch for our partners to come in. So that having that date early allows the partners that we're all wanting to get back in our schools to get in there in a multiple variety of ways. So I appreciate that. And I hear and I hear that, but and I acknowledge that that's a problem, but I think it's a wonderful thing to try. And I think it's nice that you, and I do feel for the child nutrition, but I'm not sure that any of the I don't think that they will feel that way. I think the child nutrition staff does such a great job of that they will do something that day to hopefully show appreciation for them as well. And the partners can do that too. The partners that are there to help. But
I hear, or even consider giving the nutritional staff some sort of gift card.
Right, to go out to dinner.
I'm just saying, it's nice that we're recognizing other people, but I'm saying, show me. Show me. If we're in this all together, then we need to recognize and yes, they're professionals, so they're going to do their best, but show me.
And I'm sure that Ms. Wayan would be open to that as well. And she would be glad to hear that.
And if she's not, I think that out of perhaps the ESSER funds, we can provide nutritional staff some sort of gift card.
But yeah, I don't think.
I agree with Ms. I agree with her because they are serving more people. I mean, they are serving, I'm assuming that the children would get the same menu that day.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're serving all the kids and then you're serving, and not all teachers eat every day.
Right.
So you are serving the teachers as well. And so I kind of agree, to validate that perhaps we do need to do something special for them to let them know, even though your job is to feed the children and whoever else wanted, but you went an extra mile because some of the people would not be eating today. And so they are being taken care of. I don't think it would hurt at all for us I like the idea about the gift card, or, just do something to recognize them and to say that we appreciate, you are an essential piece.
We'll
And
make
we
sure we do
appreciate you
that.
going the extra mile to do this for us.
And Ms. Wayan will be very open to that. So, and actually she worked with me together with our goal team in regards to this. So I know that she would be more than willing to do this for her
I'm sure she
staff.
will.
Yes.
So I and everybody have a clear understanding, and maybe everyone does and I don't. So I can have a clear understanding.
Mhm.
You said that they were celebrated. This celebration here is for teacher appreciation, correct?
Correct.
And it's only for teachers. When the dietary staff was celebrated, was it just their day only when they were celebrated?
It was.
It was just their day. So it's important. I agree with you. People can be celebrated multiple times. I mean, you can't celebrate us enough, not us, but the staff at CCS. But it's important to know that these are separate times that each group was celebrated. Because if I was just listening and didn't clarify that, I would have thought that they were being doubly celebrated with this celebration versus the dietitian.
But you're
staff.
just not celebrating teachers, you're celebrating the entire staff. Am I not right? You said everybody.
Right, but when the dietitian staff was celebrated, no teachers or staff was, right? That was their day.
Right, we had
Right.
counselor week, nurses
Right.
week, school nutrition.
And now we're finally making our way to teachers employees.
teacher appreciation.
So that's all I was saying. It's been broken down per department,
Right.
and now it's this department's turn, just so we have a clear understanding. But it's no problem to celebrate them twice. I'm all for it. But I just wanted us all, since this is a public meeting, I wanted everybody to get a clear understanding. At least I do have one now.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just a simple, we recognize you worked a little harder today to celebrate the
And
teachers.
I'm totally in agreement
Yeah.
with you. But at first, it sounded as if they were left out.
Yeah.
When it wasn't that situation.
No, that was a clarification. Yeah.
Vic, did you cook? A
Me?
whole lot of people?
I cooked one time and about cut my finger off,
So
so my
that's
wife
why-
said don't cook anymore.
We like your idea, Ms. Wagner. We appreciate the thought that you all put into this, and certainly I'm sure that the teachers will like this as well. And so whatever you all to do with this is okay with us.
No, not with me, unless they include everybody in gift card.
You talking about, okay. I was talking about as for what you plan to do for the teachers.
Yes.
Okay.
So for teacher appreciation.
For teacher appreciation.
And we will come up with something to be able to celebrate school nutrition staff as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you do me one favor with that? I mean, it was not really a favor, but could we promote that? I know that we do it in the stuff that goes internally, but can we do a really good job of promoting that week outside so that our community partners who have not been in like they have been recently, they get that information?
I think that's important, but it's also important to let our families know, because sometimes an educator, just to thank you from a family or say you made a difference in the life of my child means as much as any gift we could ever provide. So we'll do a really good job of putting it out there for the public.
But they all get that on our social media and our emails. The public that doesn't have kids in here doesn't follow our page. Or get our
Right.
internal newsletter. So you know what I'm saying? The chambers of
can-
commerce, the outside. the
Right, do that. We
churches
can
and
reach
people.
out to the newspaper. Absolutely.
We'll issue a press release so all of our
That'd be
media
great.
outlets are.
Thank you.
Ms. Ware, I have one more question. You said we begin on Wednesday.
Actually, we begin the week on the 2nd, May the 2nd is Teacher Appreciation Week.
So what are we doing on Monday and Tuesday?
Actually, every school will do something throughout the week, every day.
So the school themselves will do something, and then begin the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is when.
We'll do
We'll do
Tuesday, which will be the red carpet gala, and then
Right.
Thursday would be this meal.
Okay,
And they get jeans every day.
And jeans
every
every
day.
day.
okay.
Don't forget that. They love that.
Yes.
What's, explain the red carpet gala?
That is where we have an opportunity to celebrate our teacher ambassadors that have served for the entire school year, as well as our rookie team, which has been selected by our beginning teacher mentors. And we also celebrate our volunteer of the year, and our new teacher ambassador for the year will be announced for the 2022 school year. So that will be at a different venue this year. Typically, we have it at the Flame, but this year we will have it at Copper Ridge.
You'll love it.
Yeah, it's a great event. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
We did.
Okay, thank you so much.
I think we need to miss Arnita though on her little red carpet since she missed it last year.
She's gonna be there.
Oh, good, but I mean.
She gets to pass the torch.
Okay, good. She gets a little special because we didn't have it.
I know that, right? I know that. Yes. Ms. Smith, you do the trustees for the Craven Community College?
Yes, we have our process for making our appointments. The Board of Ed appoints 4 members to the Craven Community College Board of Trustees. And one to represent the Western region, which is Mrs. Jennifer O'Neill. Her term expires in June of 2025. One at large, who is represented right now by Ms. Allison Morris, and her term expires June 2023. Havelock, Ms. Brenda Wilson, who her term expires in June, and she has indicated she does not want to continue in that role. And the New Bern area, Mr. Kevin Roberts, term expires in 6/2024. So I would like for everyone, this is the process that we've used in the past. I'm not of the mindset of just throwing a name out, so we will go down the second category that says no. And if Ms. Wagner could put together the packet, the application packet, and get it up online. And if we would like, we will need to do it at our May meeting because they begin with the community college in June. So if we could do, I'm going to suggest that we do it kind of like we just did the appointment for Mr. Manning, that we put the applications out with the deadline the Friday before our work session. And then we can interview applicants in the afternoon of our work session like we did last time, since we've already taken off work, cleared our calendars that day, if that's good. And then that way they can begin work with the community college board. So, and that would be the Havelock representative. Ms. Wilson has served a long time and served very well. Dr. Scotts was disappointed she was going to be leaving. So, and if you would let me know when that's up, so I can share that in the Havelock ways that can be shared with the chamber and the city page and whatever, however we can do it. Thank you so much. So that's it, if everybody's good with that. Good. Okay.
All right. Did we discuss, did we not say yet, that we take a break before we do response? At this time, I call for a 10 minutes break. Ms. Clark, Ms. Clark is going to speak for the board in reference to our public input, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The board thanks your public input. We will not respond tonight because we want to take the matters under advisement and will respond in a future time. We appreciate your input and thank you.
Okay, our celebrations. Do we have any being items? Nobody's had any being items? I think we covered everything.
I will say there's one thing, we haven't been collecting the plus deltas from the people like at the work session. You know,
Okay.
we've been trying to evaluate ourselves. So if we could just get in the habit of doing that.
Yeah. Jennifer, you get these stickers for us, please? Yeah, we'd like that. Yes, please. Do we have any celebrations?
I mean, I have one, but you want to go round table or you want to go first?
No, we go round table.
Okay. I just want to celebrate the military. I went to, well, for one thing, I had to turn because when they were talking about their military kids, my kid is 30 years old, but I miss the heck out of her. She's in Okinawa, will be there another 3 years. And so when we went to Arthur Edwards to celebrate there, the presence of the military community in Havelock is just overwhelming. You know, I mean, and all those kids, we talk about how strong they are, but I mean, when I said they make our community stronger, they really do. We are a better system because of the time that they spend with us and the way they change each of us. So it was a really celebration. When they shake hands, buddy, they shake hands. Shoulders back, direct eye contact, firm shake, you know. And it was just a beautiful thing to see all the families there to celebrate with them and that present. So it's been a purpley week in Havelock and a good celebration. Good.
I have two celebrations. One, I wanted to celebrate being able to personally meet our new director. She came up to meet us all. So we celebrate you being in the house tonight. And I also want to celebrate this taco, the sweet potato taco recipe that was left on my table. And I celebrate Miss Wendy for giving me my little mixed drink, not alcoholic.
I was gonna say.
That didn't sound right.
Are you finished celebrating, Mr. Doug?
I could think of some more things, but yes, ma'am. I'm finished. Oh, and I would like to celebrate our new board member for coming to attend the meeting tonight. Welcome. So I could think of-
Since he did all the celebrations, I don't have anything else. Because he has celebrated everything that everybody else would have said. But I'm sorry. That's fine. I'm glad you said so. We celebrate everything. All right. Rest you took care of it. I like that. Okay, Ms. Clark.
Not one to be left out. I too celebrate our military families and children. I'm also heartened by the presence, the articulate nature of the students from elementary up to high school that presented tonight, and that's what Craven County Schools is about, excellence. So I thank you. I celebrate trying to be Victor. Public input, even when we disagree, it's important that we respect one another, and I'm heartened by that. I celebrate that we're almost done. Thank you.
Mr. Alpart,
Thank you.
one celebration, please. I was just kidding.
I'm going to limit it to one because I'll talk for several minutes on this one. Actually, I was privileged to attend the Leader in Me, along with superintendent and others, Advanced for Farm Life. Was that yesterday morning? I believe it was. And this was the students' presentation of the Leader in Me program that they've instilled throughout the school, much like the banners you saw on the wall and things like that at Newbern High School. I mean, it is everywhere. And the students were the speakers and the presenters. It's based on Covey's 7 Habits. And let me tell you, if they were kindergarten or if they were 6th grade or 5th graders, I guess, they were articulate. They knew what they were talking about. We were able to sit in on their board, their council, student council, and watched their governance. And good gracious, they had a young chairperson that was outstanding, as were each of the students. So it just made you feel good to see across the board. It's much like the military and our students stepping up and speaking, and you're just a little bit in awe that they're so poised. Well, this is throughout the school there too. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
Madam Chair, can I play? I would like to also celebrate that. That was a wonderful day, and it was totally student-led. The adult, and they got after me and Mr. Ipock several times because we were not following their directions, and we would kind of veer off. And I just have to say that school campus looks amazing. Banners in the hallway, and we were trying to figure out, we said about 1955 when that school was built. I would put it up against some brand new schools. They take pride in that building, and I understand the students prepare that because they love their school. And I think that's something to celebrate. And I also think there's somebody in the audience trying to avoid something tonight. I think our new board member has a birthday today, and I'd like to celebrate his birthday.
I do have something to celebrate. I just thought about that. Vicky had J.W. Smith today, they honored their military and also the children, and they have a parade.
All right.
You explained that for me because I wasn't there, but you were.
Okay, so James W. Smith, they was Military Family Appreciation Day as well. They sent out several reminders asking us to turn in and who was the military family. And so now they honored like grandparents at movie and past. So for example, my husband, he's now, but he was a disabled vet, so they allowed my son to actually participate in the parade. They had grandparents that participated. It was nice. The kids lined the halls throughout the school. They filled up the halls, and they fed us breakfast, and then we walked down the hall and they cheered and clapped for us. So it was real nice, very touching.
Wow.
All right, thank you. We don't have any go work. No, we're gonna defer to next. Okay. And we don't have to go to closed session.
We do, Madam Chair, for a quick minute. No. Sorry. Mr. Gatchell told me we had to.
Okay, at this time, do you have the right up, we have to entertain a motion? Kim, do you have?
I don't have it. Would you,
Is to confer with the attorney.
It's a specific.
I entertain a motion to go into closed session to consult with an attorney in order to consider redress of Kim.
L.Y.by and through J.Y. and A.Y versus, that's exactly how he said it the other day. The Craven County Board of Education, 22 EDC 00681, and protect the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged in accordance with NCGS 143/1811 subsection A3.
You heard the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. We go to closed session for all of that.
Thank you all for coming.